here. Hi guys, so Halloween's over, and it was a pretty decent one for me. Not too great, but not perfect. But it wasn't the worst Halloween I've ever had. So, we're in November, so right now my main focus besides the model challenges is reviews on RWY, any last reviews on any new information we get from Pokemon Sun and Moon into the game. Now, like I said, I don't know how people do it where they can show their gameplay, but I've got a 2DS. So that means it's going to be a little harder for me to do stuff like that. I don't even know how I'm going to be doing they usually have a dual screen. So unless it's like, you're not going to get that when you do this. But please comment because I want to make sure that the 2DS, not a 3DS, a 2DS can use this game, because I really gotta make sure before this game comes in. If it doesn't work because it's not a 2DS, I'm gonna be really pissed. Sorry for the language, but that's the biggest thing. Oh, I did order myself a couple older Monster High films, Haunted and Scarus, which are pretty good. I just gotta see if I have one other film and then to make sure, but I still need Welcome to Monster High and Boo York, so it's like I'm not done getting all the Monster High films. Now the thing is, I did like this Monster High remake, however, I don't like that they had to remake it just to do this. Was it because everyone who's grown up with it so far is starting to get older and they're trying to reintroduce it to a new generation? I don't know, but they could have just done something a little different or whatnot, or maybe make an origin film instead of like how a reboots film. But yeah. And by the way, is it getting chilly or is it just me? Ooh. Well, why don't we fix this? Much better. Yeah. Well, the reason for the code and the chill is because I finally got one of the early characters for my Pokemon thing, which I finally figured out a name for, like if I ever made a game one, which I highly doubt, but I'm going with more the literal term instead of how they did it in the early games. Actually, the only one I'm literally going from the most recent game we're getting, kind of literal version. Because with all the old versions, it's like it was based on a particular starter Pokemon, excluding Venusaur because only Japanese were able to get that. So red for Charizard, blue for Blastoise, yellow for Pikachu, gold for Ho-Ho, silver for Lugia, let's see what else. Ruby and Sapphire were based on Groudon and Kyogre, and Emerald was based on Rayquaza, and then Crystal obviously was based on Suicune. You always gotta remember that one, because not many people remember Suicune, because they didn't even make, since they don't make a remake of the third game that they make, because it's more of like an adaptive, like middle ground, and I don't think they're going to be doing that with Black and White, a remake, because they literally had like a next stage story with Black and White. So I think after we get Diamond and Pearl, we're going to be done getting reboots for a while, unless they do eventually make the third game. So I still don't have I still can't talk about my first gym leader, and I'm not going to be talking about my trainers yet. I want to actually get the gym leader stuff out first, but I might decide to do the trainers, because technically the only thing that's holding back is that I haven't I've created a concept, but I haven't picked a base, nor have I worked on that base. I'm still working on some bases for the last few characters, even if they don't have all their Pokemon yet, because like I said the last time I talked about this, my OC idea is based on it came to be because I was just bored. There's a game on DeviantArt that you can create characters, but the thing is they don't have anything past, I don't know if it's Black and White, or I think it's after Black and White, it's like you don't have, or you can't get that out of that or Diamond and Pearl, I'm not sure. I think it's Black and White, that's the last game of Pokemon, so there's no way you could get an X and Y, which is actually good for me, because because of what happened in X and Y with these Mega Forms, and that they were older Pokemon before X and Y. Because if it was a Pokemon from X and Y that had Mega Form, I would have been screwed. I took all the Mega Forms, and made the male and female trainers, the professor, the rival, all the gym leaders, the Elite Four, the champion, and four main members plus an extra like side member that was from the evil group. Because most of the time it's like you see maybe 3 or 4 characters that are part of the evil team before you get to usually. Plus it was like that was how many I had left over, or before deciding type wise, and then I took the rest of the Mega Evolving Pokemon that were left over, and I know I'm repeating myself, but you'll get to see why. And pretty much what I did was sorry, I keep having crumbs in my eyes because I've been because of sleep and makeup. I dressed up yesterday and I had a lot of black makeup around my eyes, so now that's well, the crust looks like it looks black. If you see a little black down my finger, that's crust from the black makeup. And I made them either neutral characters, which there's only a couple, which are neither, for the hero side or the evil team, and their villain side. There's like five of them. And then the rest of after those 5, then the rest are for the neutral characters, where they support the evil characters, because there wasn't really a lot of evil characters. You can't count, except for, you'll figure it out once you see this. But first character I can talk about, because I don't think I talked about any characters yet, because I want to do them in order properly. So either I'm going to be waiting until I get the base picked and base done for the next. If I do a protagonist. If not, I'm starting with the first gym leader, which I'm just waiting on to get the one last Pokemon available, because sadly I still haven't been able to do group picks, because like I said, the way I do the bases or making the bases outfits attire, because I'm using Awesome Girls art style, which I am allowed to do as long as I give credit to, and her name is Selena Dad Riyadh, and well, let's just say that she's actually seen my stuff and she likes it. And this is something she does. It's not the only thing she does, but this is one of the things. And then she also makes a Pokemon, and I just wait until all 6 are available, because after seeing how the first one I got completed was done, it just didn't look right, so I want to do that on my main computer instead of how the item I use to make the now the characters designs. So the first one, if you can't tell why I'm wrapped in a coat, is my ice user, which is my professor. You're gonna see as the icon picture for this. I'm making sure that it's this is what she looks like. Her name is Professor Pine. If you guys don't remember, a lot of the all of the professors are named after trees. So I don't know about Sun and Moon anymore. I don't remember if that's a type of tree or not. But I picked pine, as in pine tree, and a lot of them, and they can survive during during the winter, and that's what usually is used for Christmas trees, if you celebrate Christmas. And I used the Glacia, which is one of the Elite Four, I think in either Gold and Silver or Ruby and Sapphire. I don't think it was Diamond and Pearl. I think that was somebody. I think she was from Ruby and Sapphire, based from Selena Dad, and then obviously the concept came from a game also on DeviantArt. But I'm literally looking at her picture. And if you can't tell now, like I said, every one of these characters are going to have a Mega Evolved Pokemon as their partner, so they obviously have a Mega Stone. Now the thing is, when I was making the Mega Stones in the first place, I was just doing like a rainbow thing on my first trainer one, which is the one I got started, and then I decided to, and I'm not changing that one, but I decided to change the idea. And I went with the colors that the Mega Stones for the Pokemon are available, and made them where they were, like the colors, kind of in the background of the Mega Stone that the people use are the colors of that particular Pokemon's Mega Stone. Now the Mega Stone for the Pokemon I'm gonna try to make look as best as possible or close as possible to that when I do that group pitch. There's not gonna be an individual, it's just gonna be a group pick. But if you can see, it's one of her buns on her lab coat, and she is. I really like doing this one. I wish I could have done more with shading, but at some points it's like you just gotta go with the flow. And at the time I was only trying to do like creases and everything. And I know you can only barely see the Megastone. You can really just see the black little line that usually makes that little swerve thing in the Megastone, which actually these Megastones look like marbles to me. But she is the Regents professor. She's an ice type user or ice type trainer professor with a warm heart, and she starts the trainers out into the cold with the understanding that it won't be easy, but anyone can manage. Which means she's cold sometimes, but she actually does have a warm heart. Now I'm going to be going through my characters now. Remember, when I created these characters, I was creating, and I picked the Pokemon. I was picking Pokemon and giving them moves that they had available, whether they were TM moves, HM moves that they were allowed to use before Sun and Moon came out. So any type of moves, and I'm not including Z moves into these Pokemon either because I don't really care about the Z moves until Pokemon Sun and Moon comes out. That were best qualified. So most likely, as I've said every time I talk about this, because the moves have to be a certain level, the Pokemon are at a certain level, which is very high. But that's not how you guys would interact with them when you first battle them. This is probably like the last time you'll ever battle them kind of level, or depending on how high or how far you are with the story. But her partner Pokemon is Abomasnow, and he can Mega Evolve, and yes, I picked the gender male. Obviously, Abomasnow is Grass Ice in both regular and Mega Evolve form. And I picked the ability Snow Warning as it's obviously its ability. Now it's 4 moves. One is a TM move, which is Energy Ball. The others are actually moves it can learn, which is Ice Shard, Wood Hammer, and Blizzard. Her next Pokemon she will use, actually, if you first face her, it's a Cubchoo, or first meet her, it's a Cubchoo, but then by the time you finally, it'll either get to Bowler, or when at the very end, it has already evolved into a Beartic. So at this point, he is pretty high up. He's an Ice type, obviously he's male. His ability is Snow Cloak, and his moves are, one of his moves is a TM move, which is his last one, Frost Breath, and his other 3 moves are Sheer Cold, Icicle Crash, and Icy Wind. Now I don't include like certain stats in here because I don't really worry about that part. That's not why I worry about this in the first place. I like the moves, I like the gender, ability, type, and Pokemon itself. I don't worry about stats like that because that is hard to work with already. Frostlass is her next one, and obviously Frostlass is only female only. So, just to let you know, and her typing is Ice Ghost, and her ability is also Snow Cloak. Oh, this is the last Snow Cloak, don't worry. I'm just seeing how far I am. Oh wow, 13 minutes. Sorry guys. But anyway, her 4 moves are all moves she can learn, which is Destiny Bond, Shadow Ball, Icy Wind, and Ice Shard. Now, for the reason why I picked Frostlass for this one, because everyone else is kind of obvious. Well, maybe not the last one, but Frostlass I picked as not just because it was an Ice type Pokemon, and I wanted to keep it, at least one, if not more, females on the team, but also because, like, there's a sad side to being in the cold, and it's like, or sometimes people don't realize, people die, from winter causes, whether it's an icy road, or getting stranded, or whatnot. And you can see a lot of scary movies that are based around, like, a winter setting, too. That can be possibly part of the cause. Her next one is not so scary, or not so sad either, or not so sad this time. Dugong is her 4th Pokemon, and it's a Water Ice type, and it is also female. And now it's ability. Now what the information says on Bubble P, it says you can have an ability or a hidden ability Now, I don't know if that means you get both abilities or you just get one. So when I was doing all this, I always picked one. So this one is Dewgong's hidden ability, which is Ice Body, and that's also for the hidden ability for the next one too. So the 4 moves she can learn are Ice Beam, Aurora Beam, Icy Wind, and Ice Shard. And then Glaceon is the next one, which is kind of obvious if you guys know me well enough. Obviously, I put the evolutions as, except for maybe the normal type person, Glaceon is the ice type Pokemon that I would always have in my team if I was doing ice themes. So obviously the typing is ice, and I picked gender female, and I also use the hidden ability Ice Body. Now, Glaceon's 4 moves are Ice Fang, Ice Shard, Blizzard, and as a TM move, Ice Beam. Or TM learned move, obviously. Now, the last one I picked because I could not say no to putting this little frozen cone of cuteness not in her team. So she has at least been to Kalos once. Or not Kalos, Unova once, and it is Vanillite, and it's obviously an ice type Pokemon, and I picked a male gender for this one, so that way we didn't have completely female, so it's like half and half, and its regular ability is Ice Body. It's not a hidden one, and its 4 moves are Icicle Spear, Mist, Avalanche, and Ice Beam. So with that being said, I'm going to end it here. Now she's also the one who gives you your Pokemon. Now, I haven't decided if I wanted to create new Pokemon myself. I mean, I did try starting with the, trying to make the typings that haven't been revealed or not have been done yet, since we don't know what's going on still with Sun and Moon. There's some they've filled, but there's some that they haven't, so it's like, I'm actually putting that to the side until we get this, because I'm also doing a group pick, which I've been doing with a contest thing where I was doing the single types, and then I was putting up the ones that I wasn't going to be using for the contest until I got to the contest one. Because it was a really hard decision. But now I'm doing, once Sun and Moon, the Dex is completely out for the Sun and Moon ones, for any new Pokemon, any Alolan version Pokemon, and anything else, I'm going to be doing a new group of the single typings, no matter how, but it's only going to be from what Sun and Moon brought us, and then I'm going to be doing, and then I'm going to decide, okay, if there's like only one of that, new of that typing, I might put like other ones I would have considered or whatnot. I mean, I put on one Alolan Pokemon in my ice type actually. I put the Alolan Vulpix in for my ice entry, which did not get to be the one that I picked in the end for the contest. And but now I'm going to be like, and then I'm going to fill those gaps also with the dual types depending on how many there are. I'm trying to keep it to where until we find out more, I have 4 of the anything before Sun and Moon, depending on, give or take. I've done a couple where it's like 5 or 6, because there's 8 slots I can fill and such. But yeah, so yeah, that's my trainer and whatnot, and I can't wait to show you guys either my protagonists, but the thing is I wanted to do the protagonist at the same time as I did the rival, which actually I'm almost done making concepts for certain Pokemon people. Mainly I've just got maybe 1 or 2 neutrals and a couple more negatives. I have to make the concept before I can pick a base. And then after that it'll be fun. But when I was doing this, I ended up deciding, okay, I want to do something that they kind of touched on, but technically in Ruby, and it ended up being something in Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald that I did concept of, but because they technically called it by gem names, I decided to call it by its literal name. So if I ever made, this ever was a game, it would be called Pokemon Earth and Pokemon Sky. And Pokemon, I originally was do Pokemon Nature or Pokemon Water, and I ended up doing Pokemon Water. So technically the protagonists are Earth, Sky, and Water, but they do have other names that I'm actually giving them. So that's a little bit more revealed, and I'm hoping that maybe we'll get the first gym leader, Pokemon, so I can introduce that Pokemon gym leader soon. But here's a hint onto. So you already know the protagonist. So if I go that route, you know that it's gonna be one of those three kind of types. Now the protagonist and the rival, I didn't go by typings. I just went by the Mega Evolve and what I ended up doing with it. But if we get the ID the gym leader next, just have a net or some spray ready for you because it's gonna get a little bit icky.